Hi, this is Jim with ProfitTrading.com, and we're going to take a look at some markets. It's Tuesday, June 19th. Okay, CLNE looks like it's made a clear head and shoulders bottom, and today was probably the breakaway to the upside. This stock looks like it's heading much higher. It made a bullish divergence on the stochastics, and the stochastics shows the momentum's up. The 10-10 bands are moving up, and this stock looks like it has higher prices ahead. STX has been a strong stock in the last bull cycle, and it made a correction along with the other stocks, and now it looks like it's just coming out of a correction low. Basically, here was a strong move into the top and strong counter trend correction, and now this looks like it's just starting to move higher here. So I think STX is a buy. You could buy it around right now, which is around 24.50, and a stop maybe around 21, and then the stochastic shows the momentum up, so STX is definitely a buy right now if you're interested in that one. DUSA, this stock I've been watching for a while. It's got a really nice pattern on the weekly chart. I think we'll go look at that if it pops up here. Let's see. We'll look at the daily chart first, and we'll try to look at the weekly. Okay, but what's going on with DUSA is it just basically, when the market corrected, it came down here and corrected, and I think it's just making a double bottom here. This low was close was 491. This low close was 489, and we're making a bullish divergence on the stochastics, and I think DUSA is going to move higher from here. Okay, let's take a look at the weekly chart, because I think that shows a nice trend for DUSA too. Sorry to always be hitting you up about these premium newsletters. Okay, yeah, see here, DUSA looks like it's making a cup, and this is probably a handle here on the weekly chart. And if you wanted to wait for the actual cup with handle breakout, it would be up here at these highs around 670 a share, but I see nothing wrong with buying it at this double bottom. So this has got an excellent pattern. This stock, I mean, I'm just sure it's heading higher. As sure as you can be. You never can be completely sure, but DUS, and that's a good low price stock too. That's another good thing about that. Okay, one thing about the premium newsletters, I keep, I hate to keep mentioning it in every video, but these newsletters are trades. The trades have just been excellent, and for $99 a year, I mean, if you're looking for some help with your trading, here's a good example right here. Sugar. We went long right on the above this high, yesterday's high this morning, and sugar went up 0.80 today. That trade is up probably $800 just in one day. That's an $800 profit. And by the looks of this chart pattern, with the stochastic heading higher and a head and shoulders bottom, and today was the breakout to the upside, I think. I think this has great upside potential. We're holding this. This trade could be a huge winner for us in the premium commodity newsletter. So I mean, these trades for $99 a year, I'd definitely give the newsletter a try. I guess that's what all I can say. And the mentoring, if you're interested in the mentoring, I'm going to raise the price on that in July to $2,000. It's $1,000 now. That was a special introductory offer. And the nice thing about the mentoring is it's lifetime mentoring lessons. I'm going to show you a lot of tricks that I use to get in these trades. Like basically you'll know what I'm looking at to get in these trades. And then the nice thing about the mentoring, it's not just a mentoring offer, it's a lifetime newsletter offer for all three newsletters: stocks, forex, and futures. So you get lifetime subscriptions to all three newsletters, which is a big part of the offer. I mean, once you sign up for the mentoring, you'll never have to pay for the newsletters again. I'm 54 years old, and I plan on doing this the rest of my life. So I mean, hopefully 20 years from now you'll be getting a newsletter for me. 30 years from now, who knows? Just depends on how things go. Now, coffee, I've been writing on my site for a couple of days that coffee was at a low, and I've been putting in my newsletter that coffee's at a low. And again, these are the kind of little tricks I'll show you in my mentoring, how I knew. I was just certain coffee was at a low. Matter of fact, I almost called some people last night and said, hey, it's time to buy coffee, but I didn't, because I figured they probably wouldn't do it. But I mean, I just knew it was going to make this bar today. I mean, it's just some things I look at, and you can just kind of see it when it comes into the low, and there's certain things I look for. But anyway, now coffee exploded up 7 points today. Well, I didn't buy it in my premium newsletter because I've kind of stayed away from coffee because it's so expensive. The risk is so high. But again, that's another good thing about the mentoring. Once you learn how to make these trades, and then if you want to trade coffee, let's say coffee's not too expensive for you, then you can just dive right in and trade it. I would have recommended long coffee. I almost did it, but I always come back to the point on coffee is it's just for most people it's such an expensive market to trade. And we're in a lot of other good trades, so I figured that wasn't, we're in enough good trades. You can only have so much going at once. Right now we're in the grains. We're long beans. We're long corn. I'm gonna go long wheat. We're long sugar now. We're long natural gas. We're long gold. So we have a lot going in the premium newsletter. Now bonds. Here's what I think's going on in bonds. Bonds usually trade opposite stocks. Stocks are going up. Everybody's trying to call a top end stocks. I mean, I see a number of different commentaries out there, and every day they're trying to pick a top end stocks. And again, this could just be a little short term counter trend rally. But the way I look at these markets is the trend's up in the stock market right now. The moving average bands are pointing towards higher prices. Matter of fact, we'll look at stocks here in a second. I wasn't going to look at the S&P, but since I'm talking about it, we will. And to me, the trend's up, and so that's the way I look at it. I follow the trend. I don't try to predict, well, the top's coming in or whatever. So what I think's going on here in bonds is I think this is like a head and shoulders. A lot of people look at head and shoulders and like they expect an exactly perfect sideways pattern or something. These things can come in different ways. This is kind of slanted and upward slanting, or however you want to word it. It's kind of making not just a perfect head and shoulders pattern, but this still has a look of a head and shoulders. Here's the shoulder, here's the head, here's the shoulder. If you draw the neckline at a slant here, you can see that looks to be just getting ready to break through the neckline. And I think that's what's going to happen on bonds. Bonds normally trade opposite stocks, so I mean I think this chart is bullish for stocks because I think bonds are ready to break lower, and the stochastic shows the momentum's down. So again, everything's set in place here. The band's rolling over, the stochastic's pointing down. Everything's set up for bonds to make a move down from here. Again, we take it day by day. We never know for sure, but that's what I think is going to happen. Okay, we'll look at the S&P here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Again, I just kind of follow what the market's doing, and right now the bands are pointing up. The market is above the bands, which is a sign of strength. The stochastic shows the momentum's up. So we're long stocks in my premium stock newsletter. We went long the Qs in this consolidation, and I'm holding the Qs long, and I'm just thinking I'm just going to hold it long because that's the way the market's heading. I see a lot of people doing different kind of Elliott wave counts and different kind of Fibonacci retracements, and I think a lot of people overthink these markets. And again, they could be right. This could be the top, but I'm just taking it day by day, and right now I see this as an uptrend. So that's the way I call the S&P. It's an uptrend. We can take a real quick look at a couple forex pairs. AUD USD, we're long in the premium forex newsletter. Again, we got a lot of winners going, and for $99 a year, it's a good buy. So I dig in because I honestly, they probably will be going up later in the year. I mean, I hate to keep saying that all the time that everything's going to go up, but I did this $99 thing as kind of a test thing, and it's just these kind of newsletters just don't sell for that price, and I'm not going to have it at that forever, but I'm not going to raise it like right away. The mentoring I am going to raise in July just because I think $1,000 is too cheap for lifetime newsletters and mentorings, and that was my special holiday offer last year over the holidays, and I was going to raise the price right in January and February, and I just kept it at $1,000 just to give people extra time to sign up for it, and hopefully they give them a good deal and everything. But I just feel like I just kind of go by the way my heart tells me, and right now I just feel like it's kind of time to raise that just because it should be raised, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. But anyway, AUD USD, we got long right on this bar here. When this bar made a nice big move up, a thrust up, I considered that this was going to head higher, so we got long the next morning on the opening. And then basically this is moving our way, and same thing with the S&P. Bars above the bands are pointing up, stochastics pointing up. We're holding long. I mean, there's no reason to get out. It's moving our way. Here's another trade we're in the Premium Forex newsletter, AUDCAD. And this one, the way we got long this in the premium newsletter was, again, I look at indicators. I got some indicators I look at. And again, it's not just knowing what indicators, it's the way you got to look at them. And the other thing about this was I thought this was a clear head and shoulders bottom here. So it's always a combination of things the way I get in these trades. It's not always just one thing. But I mean, this head and shoulders stuck out like a sore thumb to me. So I went long on a breakout of this high here. So I just basically drew a trend line over, and that was when I was putting my buy stop in the premium newsletter. And we went long on this bar here, and then this has moved our way nicely. And again, it's moving up, and we're holding long. Again, when we went long here, that wasn't the only reason I went long was because it was a head and shoulders bottom. But on this particular trade, that was one thing that definitely helped me make the decision. So I'm going to wrap this one up. We'll look at some more markets tomorrow. I hope you enjoy the commentary. If you have any comments or suggestions or markets you want covered, just email me, profits234@aol.com, and I'll be glad to try to include whatever market you want in the video tomorrow or the next day. Thanks for listening. Jim, profittrading.com.